software engineering. There was the CMMI movement and all the things that came about, so it became, or it evolved, transferred to software engineering. Still, no software testing industry. Software testing is part of development, part of engineering. There isn't an independent thing. Okay, there are some people who piloted, like the company I work with, piloted independent testing, but within the organization. So it's semi-independent, it's not really fully independent. There were very few independent testing. Okay, so that was 10 years after. But where I had the yellow was that the country was still focused on infra. So where we are looking at, where I'm more interested is into the knowledge economy rather than the infra economy. Okay? But what was happening around the world around 2002? The US, a study came out, the National Institute of Standards and Technology says the US was losing about 60 billion US dollars a year. Okay? Because of software bugs. That's an official report in 2002. In Europe, ISTQB was just formed. Okay? Then there was a chaos report which was getting attention. So they had a couple of reports over the years, but by 2002, the success rate was about 30% worldwide. Okay, or the 10,000 projects that they surveyed. And global software testing industry was just gaining recognition. Okay, Gartner came out with 2008 report, IDC came out with 2009 report, both predicting about 6 billion and 17 billion international global market. So that was around that year, 2002, and this report came about 2009. So the industry was just building internationally. Meanwhile, back in Malaysia, we still continue with our challenge. First being is that software testers were mostly part-timers, and most of the testing done in around that year, 2005, was still the acts and the practices of the 80s and the 70s. So it was the old ways of doing things. So if you talk to somebody around that year, 2005, say, you know, you have a new way, you should have structured software testing, somebody will say something like, what's wrong with the things that we do, you know, all this one. So that was the challenge, it was a mindset challenge. And nobody wants to be a software tester. Most testers at that time were people who cannot code. So if you cannot code, you test. You've heard of that before, right? That was the 2005 situation. Like I say, I'm an old man, I was there. Okay, then there exists gaps between competencies of graduates and industry in Malaysia. Some projects failed due to poor project management and subpar IT projects because quality control was not part of the natural process or the natural intent. Lack of professional certified software testers to support growing demand for Malaysia ICT. ICT was growing, but quality focus was not growing equally as fast. So like I say, Malaysia is not like Japan. Okay, Japan started your quality movement way back in the 60s, 70s, right? With Deming doing there and all that. We are in the 90s, we were still looking into that. Okay, and at the end of the day, the conclusion of the 2005 years was that lack of focus on software. Okay, we can safely conclude that. So this is when the industry movement started. Mastura, I think you all know Mastura, the president, and some like-minded industry players got together and started talking about quality of systems and software and ICT business sustainability. If we cannot produce quality services and products as a Malaysian ICT company, we're going to lose it out because globalization was rampant. So all the companies coming in, multinational coming with quality and all that, and you cannot compete. Okay, you just lose out, you know. So we have to do something about it. So certain issues were identified. First being that there's a lack of qualified testers resulting in poor software quality. So the first thing we have to do is we should promote software testing as a vocation, as a job. Okay, that was 2005, around 2005. Then the need for quality software to enable and sustain business. So what do we have to do about the issue? We have to promote software quality assurance as creating software business. Okay, and that led to the formation of MSTB. Okay, so basically I was telling you what happened, a bit of history class, and MSTB was formed. Okay, obviously today I'm one of the directors of MSTB. It's not a promotion by MSTB, but just to put things into perspective, you know. MSTB was needed by the country. Was a movement like MSTB was needed by the country. Okay, it is a national body. Okay, and 2006 we joined ICQB, and we straight away started training and exams on ICQB certification scheme. 2008 we officially registered as a company limited by guarantee. Why it take 2 years? Because we officially want the name Malaysia as part of the name of the company, the Malaysian, and that requires a ministerial approval under the laws of Malaysia. Okay, we appealed, we were rejected, appealed twice eventually by 2008, we got our CLG with the industry guarantee in there, and straight away we organized the first soft tech, 2008. So this year is the 10th soft tech. Okay. Next year is the 10th MSTH. Okay, because MSTH started later. Okay, many things happen, and you know, we raised awareness in the industry. We became member of SQN. Okay, when we were invited by Japan, we worked with them. We strengthened relationship with many international partners. Okay, that is both local and international as well. And the thing is that our focus as MSTB was to create awareness of testing as SQA. So we addressed the traditional people process technology. But I think by then we realized that there's a bigger challenge. Okay, the bigger challenge is both public and private organizations leaders perceive quality is costly. Okay, not many investment on quality. Nobody wants to, you know, spend so much on quality because they think it's costly. It's a perception. And testing and SQA, you know, what are we doing? What do we need to do different now compared to what we've been doing for the last 20 years? So those are challenges. So like I say, this is a Malaysian thing. This is an outside Japan thing. So, you know, in Japan, this is natural. Nobody questions quality, right? Here, people question, why should I spend for quality? You know? So by 2008-2009, to MSTP for us, 2008-2009 is the, after we were, at the early days, we were formed, we were incorporated. We find that the only way forward for MSTP was a couple of things. We don't have much choice, but the first thing is we must create a widespread awareness or mindset change for quality in Malaysia. We have to do that. MSTP needs to do that. So we champion that. No other bodies in Malaysia wants to talk about a quality change for quality, not in the IT industry. So we have to take on that role. Nobody paid us, we do it. Okay. Then we must address this at the national level. It cannot be addressed at company level. It makes no sense. Okay? Because you find that in Malaysia then we have two sets of companies, the multinationals and the local companies. The multinationals already have their quality standards and all that coming from the HQ, coming down to the Malaysian operations. But the Malaysian company was struggling. What is quality? Quality is cost, you know. So, so really, then the last thing we have to do around that year 2008, 2009 was, what 10 years ago, was recommend to inceptionalize the MSTH. This is a program with the government, of which the government worked with us. We were invited by the government to come up with a unique public-private collaboration program to develop the domestic software testing industry or the quality focused initiative in Malaysia. So this is where the MSTH is today. Okay, next year is 10th year. Okay, so like I say, celebrating 10th year next year. A couple of things more about MSTH before I go on to certain things. I probably finished my presentation early because I'm going very fast. But please stop me if you have questions. Any questions so far? Okay. So everybody wants an early break, right? Okay, anyway, Dr. Anna, you want to say something about the first portion? So I'm into my second portion, which is, what time do we stop? 3:30, right? Okay. Okay, so the journey, like I said, we started as early as 2005, 2006. That was a long time ago, when I was a lot younger. Okay, what we did caught the attention of the government of Malaysia. So, then the government invited us to talk with them and see what we can do for the country. So the ideation of MSTH came about around that. Okay, like I say, what leads to this is actually that MSTB takes upon itself that it has to do something for the country. Okay. From there, okay, in late 2008, a proposal went in. It was a very interesting proposal. It was so unique. I remember, you know, we spent a couple of late nights to do it, to come up with something that thick, to say that these are things we should do. But it was a proposal for only about 2 years. Okay, why? Because we thought that, you know, there was some funding for that. So it is really to create a knowledge-based software testing industry. Knowledge-based. It's not about bodies. It's not about just testers. You know, testing. It's about high-end testers and testers that there's a lot of difference and contribute. Then the subsequent 2 years after that, 2009-10, this is when we did the first MSH pilot. We were saying that, okay, we'll do it for 18 months, then we'll leave MSH, never part that. But the 18th month stopped at about October 2010. Now I'm saying, just continue for another 2 months to complete the whole fiscal year until December. We said, okay, we do it. But what happened between November to December of 2010 was the government was thinking that we should continue this for the next 5 years. Okay, eventually we had no choice, but we had to continue because we did, I think, quite well there. Okay, and we end up doing the whole 5 years of MSH program. Okay, so it was quite a journey from 2008 until today. That's why I say next year, 2018, 2009 today, next year 2018 is the 10th year of MSH. So I understand two things, right? One is soft tech this year is the 10th year. MSDH next year is the 10th year. Okay. And in Malaysia, I think it's very rare that we have firstly government and industry collaboration. Secondly, a government and industry cooperation that goes for 10 years. It's very nice. Pushing that to the universities, and in August next month, Ministry of Higher Education is holding a session between MSTB and universities to basically recognize, we call it the national rollout for software testing subjects in universities and economics. So for those who don't know, 11th MP means 11th Mission Plan or the RMP 11. So this is a strategic paper that is guiding and motivating the economy and also the industry. Okay, then suddenly quality first. Where does it all come from? Okay, why quality first? Okay, this like I said, Malaysian industry, when we talk about quality, it's not sort of natural to us. We're not like Fujitsu, or we're not like, to you, every aspects of the process and operations must be quality, right? This is a natural thing because you started early. For us, it's a struggle. Okay, so it is actually a change management program to us besides hard technical skills. Change management program. Okay, but it is not a small change management program. It is a change management program at the national level. That makes it even more difficult. And the government or the country is looking at MSTB. Hopefully MSTB can do something about this to achieve something. So that puts a lot of pressure on some of us as directors of MSTB. But nevertheless, we took on the challenge. So let's look at the scenario today. So this is my last 6 slides. Okay, as you can see, I'm on time. Well, number of computers and internet users have more than doubled. That's very interesting. I think it's more than double, meaning that it's like triple, quadruple with Internet of Things. The numbers are going up. To the extent that IDC estimates 10 billion non-PC devices to connect to the Internet. Okay, or will connect. So machines, devices, gadgets are dominating our lives, right? Emerging and future applications, they're here, they're everywhere. Okay? Then they will get more complex to the extent that we don't really, it's so pervasive. It is everywhere and nowhere. You agree with me? There's software in this TV, there's software in the projector, there's software in this small little gadget. Software is everywhere, but you don't even know it's embedded, right? So, I mean, we take it for granted, right? And it's affecting how we work and live. Business and economic landscapes are constantly changing, so we have to be agile. So, in a Malaysian context, Malaysian companies need to offer products and services of world-class quality. So the word quality comes about again. So that's the scenario today. And we heard about testing as a service. Okay, and one of the panelists today said testing as a service doesn't mean outsourcing, right? It means outsourcing plus something else, as long as it is testing. Services being given to a client, whether internal or external. So, when you want to do testing, why do you need help? There are a couple of reasons for that. And this gives justification to VNV and IPP, or testing as a service, is because sometimes because of the rapidly changing and complex technology, you don't have the right expertise at that time. And you may not be able to get expertise. So you look for expertise from outside the organization, or you tend to collaborate with others who have the expertise. So if we know, for instance, we have some friends in Japan and you are so advanced in certain things, then obviously we can collaborate. Okay, this is where the expertise can be addressed. But it's very different for multinational companies. Multinational companies, they have a HQ. If it's a US company, they have HQ in US, like Intel. They have a Penang operations, but they have HQ in US. So when they need expertise, they probably call the US to send expertise, right? The HQ. So they have that support structure. But Malaysia, we are not like that. Okay? Our expertise is within onshore. We do have other nations out there, but we need to collaborate. Okay, we are not a big economy. We are a decent economy, but I think we have to differentiate ourselves. So we have to look for expertise. Okay, and the other thing is also important is this: when you test, is for establishing the quality metrics, like the quality measurement. So it is important to note that sometimes you want a third party, an external party, or an independent party to help you grade your quality. So it's about establishing confidence. So do you trust your own guys, or you want an independent view to quality? So in that situation, it also gives rise to the professional help of VNV IVD providers, and they can help to actually quantify your quality or your quality measures. And augmentation. Okay, this is the question we have to ask. We have to address. Remember, like I told you earlier, when we go to the industry, we say you need testing, all this. They say, why do we have to do different than what we do now? That question. So if you cannot change them, you value add to them. And most people don't want to change. Okay, fine. You can do your testing the way you do it, but we can augment onto them, and that augmentation will bring value to them. So that augmentation can go back and address the establishing of confidence, and it can also address the expertise gap. So this is where it justifies for them. Okay, so there is a reason for IVV and VNV. Whether it's internal, partially internal, fully external, or hybrid, it doesn't really matter. But it is of that nature. It is about augmenting, it's about establishing confidence, it's about plugging in the expertise gap. Okay, so that brings us to software quality. Okay, in the area of software quality which we want to address and we need to address, okay, we have to do a couple of things. And this is a known thing through research, through experience, through standards, through good practices, is that first of all, and coming and related to these two slides that I mentioned just now, first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that we address quality from the outset, which is as early as possible, which a lot of people don't even want to do. Okay, and if they do it, they say it's costly. Okay, so that perception must be addressed. Augment, like I said, we have to do it. There is value add to them, not disrupt them, and proactively address during operations production continuously. Okay, continuously actually. So therefore, to survive, organizations today must develop quality or qualities mindset in every facet of their business early and always. So early and always is a big mindset change. And to do that for a whole country of 30 million people is even more difficult, okay? So that's why we say that we have to talk about quality first. So you build buildings, okay? Now, so then you ask me, when I started this thing, I talked about history. Malaysia was into the infra project. You know, in the infra projects, we did quite well. We do quite well as a country. So you go everywhere in most infra projects now, building of structures and all that. What do you find? You find signs saying what? Safety first. Right? That is because, we have gone and evolved. Okay? From an infra project that kills a lot of workers and a lot of accidents to a lot more safer infra projects. In the case of software projects, which is knowledge-based, it cannot be safety first, It makes no sense because nobody will get hurt, in that sense, like you're building construction, but it has to be quality first. So this is where we start talking about it as quality, and we need to address the quality mindset. Okay, so my presentation is not hard technology like Fujitsu's presentation, but it's a attestation of what we have done over the years. and the hard technology is there. Okay, for instance, based on the experience that we did, we came up with a whole handbook for the government of Malaysia. Okay, to engage and bring in IVV and engage testing services for the purpose of improving quality in Malaysia. Now, this handbook came about with a lot of experience in a lot of government projects and a lot of private sector projects of the MSCBQ lab, of which I had a chance to become director. And I think in the lab itself, we have at least 30 projects of that nature, from big to small, over the last 7-8 years. So all that lessons learned goes into the book, and that book is the one that helps the government to implement the policy for acquisition. So if you talk about technologies and all that, it's within this book, okay, not in my slides. So this slide is not about the book, this slide is about the mindset change, okay? Then, that's not good enough. There are other scenarios and challenges that come out from the book. So to go with the book, we come up with white papers. And this particular white paper is an example of function point count using usage in ICT acquisition projects that occur in Malaysian public sector. Okay? So this tells you exactly how the government can use function point and metrics as part of software engineering for the government purpose.